All right, everybody. So we're going to give this a second whirl. So this is Tirzah, and she is our challenge and priorities leader for the Union of Bravery. That is her strength. It has been one of my weaknesses. And one of the things that I love about how we're looking to create teams is really not just looking at like me doing all the things, but where are these women that I have asked to join me, that their strengths are, and how can I ask them to join in with me for their teams, but also for the collective team to provide their strength. So Tirzah and I worked on last week a challenge that's based on that, a recruitment challenge that's based on you finding people to join your team, new fellows to join your team, based on them having the strengths of your weaknesses. So I'm going to share the screen, and Tirzah is going to go through the challenge. We're going to record this, and then we're also going to post all of the instructions then later on over on the Union of Bravery group page on Connect. Tirzah, can we just post that as an announcement? That way you can schedule how long the announcements are up. So like for each week, you could schedule that it's up for the week. So we'll do that. But I'm going to share my screen, and Tirzah, it's all you.
All right. So we are doing this 5-week Recruit for Strengths challenge. And this is really going off of Genevieve, her posts for the past couple of weeks, where she had us share our weaknesses and then had us share our strengths. And one technique for recruiting to build a team is to recruit based on filling in the gaps, filling in where you are weak, getting somebody who is strong who can help complement your weaknesses, and then you guys can really help each other and help build each other up. So if you did not go through and do that list of weaknesses that Genevieve had mentioned, just take a little bit of time, 10 or 15 minutes, to just think about some of your top weaknesses as a fellow or as a person. Mostly we are going to be looking at ones that affect your business. So these can be things like you're not very organized, or you have trouble keeping up with systems or tracking customers. Maybe it's that you aren't very good at follow-up. Maybe it's really hard for you to open up conversations with people or to share your story. Maybe it's going live in your Facebook events or on your Facebook page, any kind of marketing thing, creating images. There's really an endless amount of things that you might see as your weaknesses. So we are going to try to pinpoint our weaknesses and also to identify what strengths would be the opposite of those, and then look around in your group of customers or your group of friends and people that you've contacted with in the past year or so, and see if there are any people who stand out as having those strengths. So for this very first challenge, we have until Friday at noon Eastern Time to complete each challenge. Each challenge will run 1 week long, and hopefully by the end of 5 weeks, you will see noticeable results in your recruitment strategies, or even in having new recruits on your team. So this first one, we are going to look at the list of weaknesses that you have made, choose 3 weaknesses that really affect your business, like any of those things that I mentioned earlier, and then think about, I can't read that, it's a little too small. Is it past hostesses that you've had?
The first one is select 3 areas that you're weak in and figure out what the opposite would be. Then think of 3 women you know who have those strengths. So they're not past hostesses or anything. They're just 3 women that you would.
3 women you know. Okay. So you look at your weaknesses and say you are weak at the systems and creating spreadsheets and tracking your customers. So the opposite of that is something that you want to identify. You want to identify organization, somebody who's great at spreadsheets, somebody who is just always seems to have things organized, whether it's their weekly meal plan, or maybe they have their own work. It means that they need to be an organized person. Maybe they just have really great administrative skills, and that's not something that you have. So try to think about people in your life who like that person is organized. I'm pretty sure everybody knows somebody who's just like a whiz at organization and having everything figured out. Like I said, especially with meal planning kind of things. Like I know people who have their whole month of meals planned out. That's the kind of person you are looking for. And then your objective this week is to actually message 3 people who have the opposite of one of your weaknesses is their strength. And you say, hey, I've noticed that you are really good at this. And this is something that I've noticed in my business that I'm not so good at, or even just like in my personal life, it's something that I really need to get better at. Can you share some tips with me? Or what are some tools or resources that have really helped you in this area? And hopefully just open up a conversation with them about how you could use their help in a real way.
And Tirzah is going to have verbiage for everybody. So if you want to take, some of Tirzah's verbiage that she's going to send out in the post, like you can make it sound like your own, but there's some specific things that she has in there just to move them closer to the opportunity for you to ask them to host an event to earn their kit in September, based on the fact that you think they have this really awesome strength. Because that's an area that you see as a fellow too, that they're going to thrive. The one thing that, when Tirzah and I were doing this, like the reason we picked, just pick 3 women, not a past hostess, not, someone who's affiliated with Seiko yet, is you do want to maybe get out of that, circle of just going back to past hostesses and thinking like, are there just friends that you have? Like, when I think about my best friend Joelle, she's an amazing organizer. So I am going to present to her about doing this. I have no idea if she will do it, but I do have a feeling she potentially would host for me. So definitely think about who are those friends of yours that maybe they know you're doing Seiko, but you just need to call out to them and say hey, this could be really good for you. Maybe I know Amy Kaiser, one of her weaknesses, she said, is graphic design and being creative on digital. So looking for someone, calling someone out and saying hey, would you like to help me design an event? Maybe they would help you design some imagery, because you tell them they're just really good at that sort of thing. So that's going to be the first week, and then Tirzah will roll out at the beginning of each week on Monday, I guess, an image like this, right, Tirzah?
Yeah, there will be an image with each post so that it's easy to identify. And honestly, I think this first one is kind of the hardest one, just jumping out and identifying 3 people and writing to them. Yeah, that is definitely a huge hurdle to jump over.
It's being really brave and it's being really bold. Yeah.
It is. And honestly, I do think this first week is the hardest step in the 5-week challenge. So, and it may seem like a jump to go from identifying 3 people with my strengths and then eventually asking them onto my team. But you'll see through the verbiage and through the steps of the challenge, we've kind of broken it down so that step by step, you kind of see how you are, yes, identifying your weakness and identifying somebody else's strength. But like Genevieve said, you're calling out their strength, telling them how awesome it is that they have that gift. And then you're saying, I could use somebody with that gift on my team. Or I can use somebody who has that, with your skills and my skills together, we can create an amazing event that will elevate the level of my events currently. I can use your help and just as a hostess,
right?
With your skills and my skills together, we can make a really great event. And by the way, if you're interested in doing this, we could use your skills on my team. You can use the money from your event to pay for a hostess kit. So it does have a progression there that you'll see easily once we post all of
it. I agree with Tirzah. I think this is the hardest one. So get it out of the gate.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to doing it, by the way.
No, this one is going to be the one that it pushes people, into doing it. So that's the one reason. So the end goal is to recruit team members that will strengthen the weaknesses of your team and yourself. So that's something I really feel really passionate about it since I've done it with our team, and seeing really giving women these leadership roles. Not based necessarily on sales, but based on their strength. The deadline is September 30th, so it's going to be starting this week through September. And then the incentives, anyone who participates, who does it every week, and I want to really stress that, and that's why I'm saying, and I'm glad Tirzah said that this is the hardest one, because you need to do this one. So everyone who does it every week will get 6 fellow recruitment pamphlets, which I don't know if anybody has seen them, but they're like these little trifold recruitment information to give to somebody who's interested. Each new recruit who joins during these 5 weeks will receive a Soul Sister card packet with their Soul Sister. And then the person who recruits the most fellows by September 30th will get a golden foot, which, because we all need to have a golden foot. And you'll also get a banner with the Fellows Manifesto printed on it. That's something that I know a lot of people really wanted. So this is a great way to earn it by completing this challenge. Accountability, Tirzah, I don't know if you can see the two action steps we want them to email you. But do you want me to go over that, or do you want to go over that?
Let's see. I know that they have to email me that they've completed the challenge by 12 Eastern time on Friday, and also how it was, that particular step.
Yeah, so number of responses.
And then also the number of responses.
Yeah, number of responses and how they felt doing it. So that's really important. The reason we're doing that is Tirzah is amazing with helping you prioritize things. I've been under her wing for the past year and a half of like learning how to prioritize myself. And so when you share like the number of responses, that's really just for us to see like, hey, you sent it out. Did you get anybody help you feel okay about, if no one responded, that sort of thing, or if only one person responded. And then also how you felt doing it really helps. Maybe Tirzah ask you some questions about like how are you prioritizing it? How are you doing it? When are you doing it during the day? If you feel stressed out with it, like Tirzah is really great at that. So it might help her give you some different action steps for the following week. So if you have any questions for this challenge, once we have this video and also the recap post, which Tirzah, I guess what we'll do is, I think you can attach, you might have to send it to me so I can attach it to the video post.
Okay. Well, it's in that Google Drive.
It's in the Google Drive. Everything's in the Google Drive. All right. Yeah, so I'll attach the Google Drive to the recap post. That way all the information is there, and we'll get started, and Tirzah will post the image when she gets home for the first one.
Yeah, and just feel free to email and reach out to either me or to Genevieve if you need help with specific verbiage, or if you need help brainstorming about the weaknesses and strengths, or identifying people who you could ask.
Yeah, definitely.
As out throughout the week.
Yep, sounds great. All right, ladies. Well, I hope that this Monday momentum creates momentum. I really think it will. I think that this is going to create team building momentum. Caitlin or Tana, since you're on, do you have any questions about this? Or is it something that you feel interested in or excited about doing?
I'm excited about it for sure. I think I'm a visual person, so having all that laid out helps me complete tasks a whole lot better than just saying, hey, go do this. So I'm excited about it.
Cool. That's great. Do you feel like you've done direct sales before, so do you feel like building a team based in this way makes you feel different about it? Or
I think that's why I'm excited about it, because previous experiences, just go find whoever you possibly can and bring on as many as you possibly can. And to me, there's not great success in that, as well as you don't really feel great about yourself doing it. Mm-hmm. And there's not that genuine connection made that I feel is so important.
Yeah, definitely. I think that that's going to be, I feel like this also, you're calling out someone's strength, so it's also calling out like, here's definitely your role that your lane focus on. Because just like Tirzah is, you know, this priority and challenge leader for our team, she's also, I feel like, if as long as Tirzah focuses on that strength with her team members, it's going to help her not feel like she needs to be doing all the things.
Yes.
So that's the other.
It's motivating too for the person to know these are my strengths and I'm helping the team because of them. But also I can lean on the other team members for their weaknesses. So sorry, my dog.
It's all right. It's okay. Awesome. Well, then I will get this posted over there, and Tirzah, I'll add the Google Drive link, and then it's just up to you to go and add the image.